After we have all of these fractions that we're using, we're multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting, doing everything that we can to these fractions and messing with them and doing all sorts of applications, we're going to end up at times where we have numbers that come up to be in improper notation, improper fractions. And so when we look at those, like I was saying in the video about adding and subtracting fractions, we generally are going to leave those in their improper fraction forms. We're going to do something with them later on, and there's no real reason to put them into mixed number form for what we're doing in electronics. So we just need to keep that in mind. Now, there are some times that we do want that because maybe we're going to have, whole things that we're going to take out. Like we're going to end up with a number that has 4 or 5 wholes, and we're dividing it by 4 and 5 wholes or something like that. And so that can help remove some of those and reduce it before we get into the complicated steps and find out ways to make these values easier for us. But the idea behind this, and when we're looking at mixed numbers, is this. So mixed numbers are fractions that contain a whole number and then the remainder, the portion, the fraction of whatever's left over. So if I have 8.5, that means I have 8 wholes and 1/2 of a whole. So in decimal form, this would look like 8.5. So anytime we're dealing with a number with decimals, that is essentially a mixed number. But we can also, in our formulas, we can leave them and convert them back and forth between improper and mixed number, and that's what we're going to focus in on this video. So if we have the number 8.5 and we want to convert it to a fraction to make it easier to use with something we're looking at, or maybe we're going to have something that falls off, or whatever it is we're looking at, we have to do a couple of steps. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to look at the number of whole pieces I have, and then this fraction here, so this is the whole number, and this is the parts of a whole. And what that means is if I have 8 wholes, I have 8 sets of these halves because I have 1/2. 2 halves are going to make a whole. So I have 2 halves for every single one whole that I have. So how to find that mathematically is I'm going to take my 8 times my denominator, which is 2. That is going to give me 16. So that means that this 8 can also be represented, so in this case, 8 is equal to 16 over 2, meaning I can fit and I can take 2 portions, so a portion of 2 out of this amount 8 times. And when I have this mixed number, I'm going to first do that multiplication, so 8, my whole, times my denominator, 2, is 16, and then I'm going to add that to my numerator, which is on top, and then I'm going to put everything over my parts. So here I've started that. I have my 8 wholes. My 8 wholes times my 2 parts per whole gives me 16 parts, and then I have 16 parts plus 1 additional part is going to give me 17 parts, and my part size is 2. So I end up with 17 over 2. Now I know that was kind of a lot of explanations, a lot of weird ways to look at it. So again, just kind of think about it again. I have 8.5. I take 8 times my 2 is 16, plus the 1 on top, and I get 17 over 2. Really quick, we can do that. A lot of times we kind of do this without even thinking. This is a very, very basic skill to look at. A lot of times when people make errors on this, what they do is they forget to add or multiply this 8 times the 2, and then they just add these numbers together. So 8 halves does not equal 9 over 2, because here they just went the 8 plus the 1. You've got to multiply first and then add for your total value. And that will work either way. So it work going bigger or going smaller. We just have to do one slight difference. Okay, so again, going from a mixed number to a improper fraction. We've got 20 and 4/9. So when I'm looking for this, I got to figure out how many total parts out of all this I'm going to have. So I take my 20 times my 9. So I take my whole times my denominator, and then that quantity we add to my numerator. So 20 times 9 is going to give us 180. So we get 180 here, and then we're going to add that to our numerator, which is 4, and that's going to give us 184. And so then when we convert that and put it all together, we get 184. My denominator carries over 9. So 184 over 9 is the same as 20 and 4/9. Okay, so that's going from mixed numbers from a mixed to an improper fraction. To go the other direction, to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number, so we're going to take 21 over 6. Okay, so as long as our numerator is bigger than the denominator, we have an improper fraction. And the way we do this is I have to find out how many wholes of this do I have, with 6 being the number of parts per whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 21 and I'm going to divide it by 6. So 21 divided by 6. I could actually draw the right symbols. All right, so 21 divided by 6 is going to equal this. So when I take that and plug it into a calculator, I'm going to get 3.5. Meaning I have 3 wholes, and then I have this left over. My remainders. Think about our long division again. So if I'm looking at it, and in this case it's really easy because I have 0.5, that's half, so that I can quickly figure out what this answer is. But if this wasn't a nice, easy round off number, the process to do it is going to be the same. So I take 21 times 3. Or sorry, not 21 times 3. I take 6 times 3. I got to go backwards. My 6 times 3, so 6 parts times 3 wholes, that's going to give me 18 pieces that I'm looking at. I'm then going to take the 21 and subtract the 18 from it, and what I have left over is going to give me 3, and that's going to be over 6. I have 3 sixths left over when I take out the 3 wholes of 18. So then I can combine these together. Here's my whole number. Here's my fraction from my parts. So 21 over 6 is the same as my 3, which is my whole, and my parts, which is 3/6. Which then that's also going to reduce down because I can make 3/6 and turn it into the half, which is what my decimal showed me in that aspect. So 3 1/2 is my final answer in mixed number format versus improper fraction format. All right, so again, we'll go through another example, if I can get my screen to move a little bit for me. So same process. We're going to take 33 out of 12, so 33 twelfths, and we're going to convert that into a mixed number. So again, I got to find out how many wholes do I have in here. So 33 divided by 12 is going to give me 33 divided by 12 is going to give me 2.75. So that means this is my wholes. So 12 times 2 is equal to 24. And then I take my 33 minus that 24 to tell me how many parts I'm leaving behind. And 33 minus 24 is equal to 9. So I have 9 twelfths left over. That is then going to reduce down to 3/4, which is also 0.75. 0.75 is equal to 3/4. Just a quick, easy fraction. So here's my parts. Here's my whole. This one's also my parts. So I'm going to end up with 33 over 12 is the same as 2 and 3/4. And then I can go back and forth as needed between whole numbers and my improper fractions. Or sorry, not whole numbers, mixed numbers and improper fractions.